Mm. Mm. Так, все, шерю. Okay, quick check if everything works. Um, can you open our link? I have sent you a link in the chat. Um, yeah, it works. Great. Then we can start, I think. This is already 5:30. Did you renew this link to all sources? Yeah, I have renewed it in the description to the previous announcement. Okay, and in Telegram bot as well. In Telegram, they can go to the initial link and then they can see the updated link. Okay. At least from our previous experience, it was a lot of people who watched in after the stream. So
Can you see right now how many people are live with us?
yeah, but not now, because if I open
Okay.
at least maybe someone can text in the chat if they can hear us, see us, and everything's fine. One moment, I need to open. Yeah, I think we have 3 persons in live. So I think we can start because many people are watching the stream after it passed. That's why I think we can start. So I'd like to greet everyone. Hi everyone, and welcome to our live PM interview challenge. My name is Christina, and I'm product manager and also founder of the Product Management Club and several mobile apps. I'd like to give you a short overview how our meeting is going to be structured today. So we have today 2 amazing hosts, Olga and Zhenya. And what we are doing today. So Zhenya is Microsoft Principal Product Lead, will ask us real PM interview questions. Then Ola and I will take turns answering. But there is a twist. For each question, one of us will answer on our own, and the other will secretly use ChatGPT to help. Then the goal of Jane is to try to guess who actually uses ChatGPT. And also you can do these guesses by yourself in chat. You are free to do this and then compare if you guessed or not. What is next? So before we start with a short round of introduction, I would like to give you some overview of our product management interview preparation. So we run Case Club since 2021, and during this period we graduated, I would say, more than 200 people, and our main detail that differs us from another programs is that we learn through practice. So this is a quite fascinating way how to gain new skills. And this program particularly serves to help you to get your dream offer, especially on the European market, where product cases are quite common during the interviews, especially in big companies. So I think we can continue with the introduction round. So Ola, can you please shortly introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much. I need to confess that I'm very nervous today, super nervous, because it's a double stress. It's not just a mock interview that you already feel nervous and like it's live, but also I know Zhenya, she was my mentor and she's amazing, and I know how tricky can be her questions. So she thinks really out of the box. So that's why I think it's a big experiment what we've decided to do, and we'll see how it will how it will go. So I am a product manager with experience in different domains, in edtech, advanced technologies, at search engine. I used to work at Yandex, its main Russian search engine, and now I work in American company. It's American SaaS for accountants, TaxDome, as a senior product manager. And I think that I live in Dublin, by the way. So I was hunting for a job in Europe so for some time, and I think this job hunting gave me a lot of skills. Not only the good thing that it's not only you learning how to pass the interview. The good thing that you're really becoming a better product manager. Yeah, and today we are going to test our abilities. I need to confess that I'm a terrible cheater, so I'm not good at it. Yeah, but hopefully at least I will not fail the part that I need to speak from my heart. Thank you so much. And Zhenya, please tell us about yourself.
Sure, happy to introduce myself. My name is Gina. I work as a product manager, principal product manager at Microsoft in Seattle, United States. I lead several teams doing contextual AI, conversational AI, data, natural language to data visualization, and all the other cool AI stuff, including infrastructure and B2B user-facing experiences. I also am a retired startup founder, so I really love to help and help other people with their projects. I do have 15 years of experience in product management, and I love to help people prepare for the PM interviews, because when I need to interview, I prepare a lot. And so far, I've got all the offers from the companies that I interviewed with. So I hopefully either I'm lucky or charming or I know what to answer, or I'm just prepared really well. For this challenge, I am nervous a little bit as well, because initially I thought it will be very easy to guess what is answered with ChatGPT. But then I realized that if Christina and Olga are very good with their interviews, and they must be very good, it will be close to the perfectness of the initial answer of ChatGPT. The problem is when you start to dig deeper, the ChatGPT or other AI technologies would like try to accommodate what you want and so on. And if the person, let's say, cheated initially while they were preparing, but then once you like keep digging and digging into the question, they just don't know how to answer. However, in this round, I don't think we will be digging too much, because I want to cover all us to cover different sort of PM questions, product sense, analytics, behavioral, problem solving, working with other people. So a lot of things. So what we will do, I will ask a question. Christine and Olga will turn off the camera because we don't want to try to guess like who is typing, who is making notes, who's reading from the screen. So they will turn off the camera for a minute. We will give them 1 minute, and then they will answer, let's say 2-3 minutes. We want it to be enough for you to learn also, and then we will in life like try to guess in the chat. What do you think? You can say like, why do you think it? So I will try not to judge based on how blushing they are, because I'm also a terrible liar. So they're already blushing right now without using ChatGPT. So we'll try not to guess by blushing, but we will try to see what sounds more like AI. That's basically it. Christina?
Yeah, thank you so much for your introduction. Yeah, to be honest, I'm nervous too because I have not been preparing for any PM interview questions for quite long time. But okay, we will try it. I think we can start. So we have already know who is who, and who starts as a bot and who starts as a human.
Okay, so to spice it up for both of you, I don't think we will need to use AI for the first question, because first of all, I want to learn a little bit how you answer naturally, so then I have better chances to guess next. So you can keep that for the next. So the first question, I don't think AI will help you to answer. So I want to learn about a product or feature that you shipped where the outcome was not the outcome that you expected. Why did it happen, and what did you learn from that?
So we have this 1 minute for preparation.
Yeah, you still can think. But in this one, we're not using AI, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Zhenya, are you going to tell in this like 1 minute of preparation to tell people how it's better, like some tips or something like this?
If it will not distract you.
No, it will not, because we can.
Okay. So this is the type of behavioral question, and this basically shows your growth mindset, right? So it's similar to the question is like, what you're not good at, let's say, and that's not the question that people ask right now, but sometimes our projects fail, and it's very important to see what the person learns so that they will not have the same mistakes in the future, and also how they like what's their emotional response to that, because there are some people who get like blaming others or blaming managers. Like it just depends the way like how person sounds about it. What usually it's like we usually want to see is the growth mindset, that people acknowledge that something didn't go the way they expected, and what were the lessons learned, and even more perfect, and why am I helping you here, and how they used it in the future. So let's say you had these mistakes, you understood 1, 2, 3, and then how you implemented the learnings in the future so that you don't have the same mistakes. Okay, time is up. Yeah,
Yeah,
Olga, you want to start?
of course.
So the question is, tell me about the product or feature that you shipped where the outcome wasn't as expected. What did you learn, and what would you do differently next time?
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. I love this one, and I love because it's an opportunity to pass through my uncomfortable to share. So it was during the time that I was working for Yandex Images, so it's a image search engine, and the idea that stakeholders came to us is to bring completely new user pattern to the 20 years old servers. So everybody is already adapted to use image search engine, like they do, like type some request, some query, and to find pictures. And the idea was to change this UX pattern. And the project was so important for stakeholders and for everybody. So that's why it was a project when I had about like 20 executive level stakeholders. Everybody had different opinions, and they wanted to be to know about the all details, and they wanted to give all advices. And my task was to tackle everything and to ship this project like in a half year. And we started to experience problems when we started to do prototyping, and we couldn't find the UX pattern which was understandable for all types of our users. And we have like a 20 million DAO, so like we had different users, and we did a lot of mistakes. And honestly, in the end, we were very close to launch it. But we didn't, because we had only 6 months to launch, and after priorities in company have changed. And I know that we didn't launch by a bunch of reasons. Firstly, because we didn't prototyping enough. And saying prototyping, I mean not only prototypes like in Figma design prototypes, but I'm talking about prototyping in code. And the thing that we needed to do is create a sandbox and do not try to approach as we usually do, like to launch A/B experiments. And the third thing that we should do differently is I should do differently. Do not listen to all advices from all stakeholders, because it was high level, very experienced stakeholders, but they were giving me super controversial advices, and they wanted us to follow their advices. So I needed to create a plan and follow this plan more than listening to this kind of suggestions. And I think that we've been a bit unlucky that we didn't launch it, because if we had a bit more time, we could handle it. But yes, next time I would focus on resolving this kind of obstacles.
Okay, thank you, Christina. Do you
Yeah.
want me to repeat the question? Tell me about the product or feature that you shipped where the outcome wasn't as expected. What did you learn from that, and what would you do differently in the future?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I'll use as an example my own product, and yeah, probably you can see it. This is a platform for Case Club. This is a huge platform that offers people with some access to videos and video recordings, and also they can manage their subscriptions and choose some subscriptions. So this is a quite large platform that provides end-to-end experience for our participants. The idea was to introduce some additional features that are connected to video management, like favorites and watching and filtering by unwatched videos. These features were chosen because of some user research. And once I implemented these features, I haven't tested the whole scenario. So starting from authorization, and once I shipped it, and I shipped it on Friday, on weekends, I realized that users cannot access this platform because authorization part is broken because of this changes. Yeah, this was quite embarrassing situation for me because it was weekends and I had to fix quite quickly. As for my future, what I learned from this situation is that firstly, once something is implemented, then the whole, or at least critical path, should be comprehensively tested. at least by my side. Secondly, in order to support such large projects and if I want to grow this platform in the future, I need to cover with auto tests all the critical scenarios. And also, I should be quite accurate when it comes to releases before weekends, because if I cannot support quite quickly users, it could be quite embarrassing situation.
Okay. Do you want me to comment? Or this is just like a baseline for everyone who is watching to understand how Christina and Olga are answering when they're answering by themselves, so that we have some comparison, something to compare to. So our baseline. Do you want me to do some like quick advice, or do we just making it the guessing game? Usually, so especially in the beginning, right? Let's imagine I just met you, I just met Christina, right? Like I want to get to know, we just have like 45 minutes or like half an hour, and I want to learn as much as I can from you. So the answer could be shorter. There were in both answers, there were so many details that were not relevant to the answer. So for example, Christina answered last, right? So for example, first you describe the platform, and sometimes it makes sense. I also answer this way because I feel like the person needs to understand what is what about. The actually the answer was that you have a platform with a lot of features, and once you introduced an additional feature where you didn't test the whole flow and the flow was affected, people could not sign in, and you need to test all the flow. So this is like 20 seconds answer instead of 3 minutes, because when the person, especially in the beginning, is listening, right, they're trying to understand which one of that is important, right? Like, is it important that you have video features? Is it important? And then you tell something that was not even relevant. For Olga also, right? Like you described that it was in a very important project, but I didn't understand like why it was important, right? So I would answer, like, to answer it shorter, you could say that there was a project with 20 stakeholders. They were all CVPs. They all had opinions, and it took forever to make a decision. Plus, we didn't do the prototype. The timeline has come. We were not able to ship. Just bare facts. Because especially it's the first question, right? Like, I just want to get to know you. Okay, let's move on. And now it gets now you start using AI. Okay, the first one is from Product Sense. Please design a product for solo travelers to meet local people while staying safe. So I don't say here women, because usually women often feel unsafe. It can be any people. It can be maybe disabled people, right? So they want to feel safer because some people can take advantage of them. Just solo travelers want to meet locals, and it's a product for them to meet locals and feel safe.
Jenny, in the chat, people ask to type to the chat. Is it possible? Or
Yeah, while you will be preparing, I will drop the question. That's a great idea.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you have 1 minute.
The chat on YouTube.
Yes, I understood. You have 1 minute to prepare.
We hide our cameras.
Yes. For those on the stream, I will be, I'm using YouTube on the phone, so it's not like I'm chatting with someone. While Christina and Olga are working, I will be dropping you a question to also think together. And to be fair, normally, let's say if we have a product sense interview, it's usually like all 45 minutes for the product sense interview, where you solve 1 or 2 cases. Here, we just ask girls to have 1 minute prep. That's more or less how much you have to prep during usual interview, but they will have only 2-3 minutes to answer. So of course they will not be able to cover everything, but at least we will hear some thinking from them or some AI thinking. Okay, I dropped it in the chat. Okay, see Olga is ready.
Yeah, I think it's slightly more than 1 minute. Christina will come back.
Yeah. Who wants to start? Should I say? Okay, let's go with Christina now because she was second later. Okay, Christina. So, what's your solo product? What's your product for solo travelers, to meet local people while staying safe?
Yeah, I'll start with the goal. So the goal of this product is to make this in-person meetings with locals quite safe, predictable, and trustworthy. So people who meet with these local people can be sure that they meet actual persons. Then I continue with some key users and key user segments. First user segment is travelers who want to meet local people to get to know about the culture. The second user segment is locals who wants to make some tours and get some exchange with travelers. And the third user segment that I would consider is digital nomads and expats that are looking for some options to explore new city. So then I continue to the next step, to the core user needs. Firstly, what are the needs of our users is they want to be confident that they meet the person that they actually who they actually plan to meet. They want to be sure about some location of the meeting and activities that are planned. They want to stay safe during these activities, and as an optional some privacy controls, especially for some solo travelers. So my idea of the product is to include some specific features like verification of identity, a smart midpoint selection where they can choose some safe points of meetings like public places, live session tracking for relatives and friends so that it can be sure they can be quite safe and so on. And also post meeting feedback regarding how it went actually. Do I have some time?
It's very good so far. May I ask you a question? Like, how would you measure the safety?
I would say that the percentage of users. So I would say some questionnaires in the product. Also, I would measure percentage of users who enable these safety features. Also, I would check how many of users tries to arrange the second meeting within the product.
Okay. Olga, your turn.
Thank you so much. And because we have lack of time, normally I would talk more about the strategy and the mission of the company, and it would be more dialogue. But here I will talk about my assumptions only. I think it's important to talk about the strategy and the mission of the company because it's always connected with the goal, and we need to know what's the goal before designing any type of app. And I believe the mission should be something like to give people safe traveling, and to provide them environment where they can feel safe, something like this. And in this case, the product strategy could be focusing on conquering the market of people who is seeking for safe travelers, and probably we're talking about early stage startup. So they are interested in conquering the segments of users which are important for this task. So I would put as a goal the providing the ability, providing the instrument to people to travel safely. I wouldn't put any measurable goals now because of the stage of the startup. And regarding the user segments, we can split them by demography or by location, or here I would like to split them by how often they use the product. So I would split by no, sorry, how often they are traveling. So people who are traveling often, time to time, and once a year. And here I would focus on the group who is traveling often, because I presume that for this segment it's more important. And probably they have different user pains, and I think that they could have user pains regarding safety, but in different different ideas of safety. So safety regarding being safe from people, do not be lost, do not to be safe from animals, etc. And I also think that their pain points can be to give the idea to their relatives where they are, and to provide the location. I would focus on the last one because it's quite accurate pain point that it's possible to improve. And in normal world, of course, I would make some pieces of research, but here I'm using just my product intuition. And regarding solutions, it can be some just alert, like red button, the alert button if something is wrong with you, sending the location to the emergency contact. Or it can be a community of travelers who are trusted, and who help people to prevent to stay safety, and who can help like if you don't have petrol in your car, for example. Yeah, sorry, I see the time is up, so go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So people who are watching us live, so what are your guesses? I wrote during Christine, very early during Christine's answer, that I'm pretty sure she's answering with AI, but I wanted to wait for Olga to answer to compare, and then just write Olga when she answered. I was very certain that Christina was using AI. However, now I can tell you why I thought that. But I don't know. Should I tell first why and then you shock me with the answer? Or
Tell us
or
why.
I can tell you why. So first of all, first of all, I was very surprised that none of you asked any additional questions about like what's the business, what's the goal, why we're even building it, because it's a very open question. This product can be about anything. And when Olga was answering, she was sharing some assumptions that she had as a human. Christina answered right away, because if you feed something to ChatGPT, ChatGPT doesn't have any questions. ChatGPT is like, okay, give me a problem, I will answer the best way I can. And that's the thinking that gives away. It was very good answer, like Christina, it was good answer, well structured, but I could just see that like it was too much confident without the structure that you provided. Because if you were, let's imagine you were so good with structure like a robot, then you would start like, that's how I answer. And this is what is also like one of the advices. When you start answering, you first tell what will be a structure, so that the person who interviews you knows like everything you want to cover, and then maybe they can tell you, let's move on, right? So usually you tell like, okay, first I will tell the assumptions, second I will go through user segmentations, then I will talk about potential trade-offs, then first you tell the structure, then you move on. But you didn't tell the structure, you went exactly like ChatGPT would answer. You would say, okay, here's the goal, here's 3 user segments, and then there was like a little giveaway. I'm actually not sure, because for all of us, English is not our native language, but you didn't know how to pronounce digital nomads, and maybe you just don't know how to pronounce it, or maybe you just saw it on the screen. Sometimes we just see the words and we start pronouncing them, and then we're like, oh, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. So I would honestly like, it just caught my ear a little, like, and I wasn't sure like, were you reading from the screen, and were not, so this was like a little thing, but mostly is the structure, and that you didn't dig deeper. So Olga's answer was less structured, less polished, and she was losing sometimes the structure in the answer, but that exactly showed that she was thinking on the way. Because to solve such a big product in 1 minute, it's very hard. So that's very understandable that even with the structure of the steps, you can keep thinking while you're answering. So that's why I guess that this time Christina was answering with ChatGPT and Olga was not.
Yeah, I also think that we are not experienced in, like pretending too much, because once I started to answer, I found out that I'm like thinking out loud too much. It shouldn't be. Yeah, but next time I will try to trick you better.
Yeah.
Was I right?
Yes.
Okay, thanks God. Because uh, okay, no, but to be honest, Christina's answer was very good. And because it's not a very like technical like question, right? So it even can pass as her answer, and then the person can stop digging, and then Christina can start thinking, right? So like, I wouldn't say that there was anything wrong with using AI first. However, companies ask not to use any AI tools during the interview, let's say. But if you just like, let's say like you lost any ideas and this can help you to start, it helped you to start. Okay, let's move on. Second is analytical thinking question, and I will drop it in the YouTube chat. So let's imagine it's your product. Let's talk about product games. We have them on the screen. So let's imagine you're owners of product games, and your platform's daily active usage dropped 20% last week. So you review metrics once a week, and you saw that DAO was down 20% every day of the week. How would you investigate, and what metrics would you look at first?
Okay.
Sorry, which metric went down?
Daily active usage, DAO.
Mm-hmm.
DAO went 20% down every day last week.
Okay.
Okay, let's come back. Let's start with Olga this time.
Okay.
So the question is, you're the product owner or the founder of product games that we see on the screen, and you check that last week DAU, daily active usage, was down 20% every day of the week. How you will investigate, and what metrics would you look at first?
So first of all, may I ask you, is the data correct? So can we double check tracking systems, dashboards?
I'm sorry, I lost you for a little. Can we check what?
Can we check our data? Is it correct? Can we check?
Oh, the data that yeah, the data is correct. It definitely fell down 20%.
Mhm. And when did the drop start?
You only can see the last week. So every Monday you check the data. Last Monday everything was fine for the previous week. This Monday you're checking. Last week was down.
Okay, so like it went down last week suddenly in one day, right?
Yeah, on Monday, and then was down
Okay.
every day.
And so did it impacted new or returning users or everybody? All of them.
I don't have the answer.
Okay, so let's
I
say,
don't know. So how you will investigate what happened?
yeah, I would like to check if it influenced some cohort of users. So like, for example, new and returning users. If not, like I would check by platform. Like, did we observe some problems by region, by version, by iOS or Android, something like this?
Is this your answer or you asking me?
Sorry. Sorry, I thought like we are answering. Sorry, I thought it's like a dialogue. No, okay,
No,
so
no, no, no. I just want to hear how you would investigate. So from your answer, it already sounds like you will first check that the data was correct in the dashboard, then you will check when it started, then you will check. Just tell me all your process.
yeah, sorry. So yes, I would check if it impacted by platform, region, or version. I would check also crash rate and performance logs. So do we see any spikes? You said probably not. I would check also funnel metrics, like regarding the user journey and where are people dropping. And I would also check external factors like maybe competitors launched something or it's seasoning or like external websites impacted us. So basically I would go to this kind of sorry regarding that. So I would go with this algorithm.
And the second part of the question was, what metrics would you look at first?
I would check DAO components. So, like if we have some components of DAO, like for example, okay, let's say I would go to DAO like every day. I would check the same DAO, but different like weeks or like last year, because like maybe we have summer now and it influenced seasonality. I would also check, as I mentioned, the funnel. So, did other metrics were impacted? Mm, yeah, I think I would start
Okay,
with the funnel.
okay, thanks. Christina,
Yeah,
the
thank you.
metrics are down 20%. How will you investigate? And what metric you will look at? What metrics you will look at additionally?
Okay, so I would firstly have a clear understanding of active users. So let's assume that active user is someone who interacted at once somehow with the platform. Then, as this is educational platform, this is quite impacted by the season. So, for example, if it's summer, then we are expecting some low number of users. Then once this is quite easy to check because you know if the season is there or not. Then that's why I would check this in the first instance. Secondly, I would check technical issues because sometimes if there is no seasonality, then maybe there can be problems with interacting within from the technical part, like payments doesn't work, or authorization doesn't work, and so on. And thirdly, I would continue with some product metrics, but this is like optional part because if we take as active users someone who do at least one action, then they just need to open the website and at least start with authorization. And some product metrics are not quite directly influence this stuff, only yeah, especially within the 1 week. And the last point is marketing. So if we so we have some churn in the product, that's why we need to also check some marketing activities. Maybe this could influence.
Okay, this one is harder. I'm pretty sure Olga answered without AI and Christina answered with AI, but the thing is that both answers could have been better, because I can tell you why I think it happened, but I'm not as confident as in the previous one. Um, why Olga didn't answer with AI? First, she missed half of the question. AI usually would, like, if she wrote the prompt correctly, it was 2 questions, and AI would like definitely write her both parts. That threw me off. Second, there was not as good structure again as Christina had, because I know how ChatGPT answers analytical question. It always answers seasonality, technical, UX. So that was a giveaway in Christina's answer. I teach my prompts because I usually first check technical, then seasonality, then UX. So like I just know that ChatGPT loves to first offer seasonality, or UX, then seasonality, then technical. So I just know that ChatGPT answers in these 3 ways. That's just from experience. What threw me off in Christina's answer is that she said that she will not check the product much. However, in the first question in the warm-up, when I asked about her lessons learned and the biggest mistake in her process, she told me about how she introduced like a feature and then she didn't test and people could not log in. The thing is that when your DAO is down 20%, and let's say it's not seasonality, and it's often some sort of UX path where people are not able, where some cohorts get stuck. So to me, if this was a lesson learned from Christina, how she could not reflect this here. So that just was like pure giveaway from reading from ChatGPT answer, because ChatGPT maybe doesn't know that she has this lesson. So that's why I'm not sure. It's because both answers were not like ChatGPT 100% quality, where it was like everything like super structured, super thought through. So either they're learning to adapt, but I still I would say Christina used, Olga didn't use.
So now we surprised you because it's the other way around.
Woof.
Yeah. And by the way, I double checked because I didn't notice like about my part, like where is the bottom metrics, but it was not any, and like answer it, but you give me the follow-up questions and I was like, okay, like it's super confusing, but I decided to take because he didn't structurize it, but he definitely mentioned funnel, right? So I can say
Yeah.
I
I'm
want
surprised. Okay, this means that Christina mastered answering analytics questions as good and as structured as AI would be. Wow. Okay. I didn't expect that. Okay, let's move on. Okay, 1-1 for me. Do you want an AI question? I just don't know how much you have experience with AI. Do you want AI question for fun?
We can,
Yeah.
we can try.
Okay. Okay. How would you use AI to improve the experience of a food delivery app? So depending on the region where you live, it can be Volt, it can be DoorDash, it can be Bolt Food, it can be any sort of food delivery app. How would you insert AI there to improve the experience? Any additional questions? Do you want to ask anything?
Yes, is it product sense as well?
Yeah, it's kind of product sensitive with AI,
Okay.
but it's to existing products. So the product already exists. They all do the same thing. You order, they give you the time estimate, right? Like they all do the same stuff. Now, how would you add AI to improve experience? Any additional questions?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, while Christina and Olga are thinking, I can share that I'm very surprised that they didn't want to ask any additional questions. I asked them like 2 or 3 times. First of all, that's giveaway if the interviewer is like, do you really need a hint? Please, please take a hint. When the question is food because they have very little time to answer, the food delivery apps have a lot of personas there. There's the person who orders, there's the restaurant, and there is a delivery person. We can improve the experience of any of this part. It's like to be honest, if I were answering, I would ask at least like what persona do we want to concentrate on, because it can be very very different. These are only three that I can think of. There can be like tax payment, there can be so many parts to this big product. So especially when you have like such a short time for your answer and you don't have like 40 minutes for the full case to go through all the personas, I would just say like, hey, I can AI improve any person's life. Like tell me the persona, and then in persona, let's say I have some assumptions, like, for example, the discovery, for the person who orders, for example, discovery of the products, ordering of the product, payment and tips, tracking, deliver. There are so many jobs to be done for each persona. Like I would just, let's say, ask for uh, as narrow case as the interviewer allows me, so that I can produce a better idea of application of AI. Yeah.
Yeah, I have feeling that time's up.
Okay, cool. I was calling you both meanwhile. I don't know if you were listening, but okay. So let's start with Christina this time. So how would you improve using AI? How would you improve the experience of the food delivery app?
Okay, may I ask some questions at this point, or I can go without?
It's too late. Like,
Okay,
but you can ask, of course.
okay, I will start with some assumption. So I can have multiple goals that I want to achieve by implementing AI tools. So among these goals can be is to increase user retention. We may want to increase conversion to order, make some delivery faster or maybe even cheaper. And also we can consider that we want to improve how our customer tickets are processed. So for this particular case, let's focus on user retention. We will continue with structuring our user segments. So we have basically 4 user segments. The first segment is new users. Secondly is regular users who order in our app regularly. The third segment is busy users so we can divide this new users and regular users. And here we have subcategory like busy users for whom it's quite important having high speed of delivery and also reliability of the service. And also we have a subgroup of health conscious users who are quite for whom it's quite important having this healthy options. So what are the problems of these user segments? So for them, there are a lot of options to choose from. So it's hard to choose the proper option. Delivery is not always accurate and in terms of time. Also, we have poor personalization. And I would say that for this case, I would use some personalization issue, which is quite important, I would say, for all of our groups. So what we can do here, so we can introduce some personalized food discovery. So AI learns from order history, and then based on these learnings, recommend some meals or restaurants. So also we can provide some additional stuff like predictive ordering, reordering, smart reminders that also contribute a lot to retention of our users. So for metrics, so we wanted to improve our retention by introducing. So I would say that the main KPI will be retention rate across these user segments, order frequency per user, conversion rate. So from browsing in the app to order. Yeah, that's it. And why AI? This AI removes some friction and make the app like it knows you and gives you some personal recommendation.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Very cool answer. Olga?
Thank you so much for the give me a time. Let me put the timer this time. During my answer, I will again go with assumptions, less with dialogue, and I will talk about the mission, the strategy of the company. We will define the goal, probably not together, but you can correct me. I will talk about user segments, user pain points, user solutions, and if we have time, we'll discuss metrics. And I want to talk about the product strategy because we need to define the goal and it should be aligned with product strategy. I think that this kind of application can be focused on improving on conquering new markets, world expansion, or probably their focuses, as many other products, is implementing AI in their products, or like, let's say, cost cutting. And let's choose an assumption that implementing AI as a focus of strategy is important for this company. So that's why they've decided to go to this, and they need to define some goal. And it can be a very generic one, so like improve the number of orders. So like basically the idea to implement some AI features to improve their core product, to increase revenue. And Here, talking about segments, we could split people by how many people are ordering. So it's a group of friends or single or couple. We can split by new users and all users, or by frequency, how they ordering food. And here, probably I would like to focus on occasional users who order food through this app, but not so often. So they do have some obstacles. And regarding their pain points, I was thinking about choosing food. The fact is to choose what they want today. It can be difficult. They can experience also problems in like trying new products. So like they are kind of stuck in products that they already like. And they also could have problems in finishing the order by the number of steps that they need to do. And here's my assumption, which is not based now by some discovery, is that choosing food is the most difficult obstacle and it influences the beginning of the funnel. So as a solutions here, I would think about recommendations by AI. All information about this user can be put it to the order. And also it can be integration with Alexa, and the person doesn't need to open the order. He can just ask Alexa, please order sushi for me, and maybe even make a decision which sushi. And also I was thinking about yeah, let's say this is this two. And here I would go with recommendations with AI as a easier solution. So by effort, it's much easier to achieve. And as a first step is better.
Okay. I have no idea. I honestly, I I have no idea who was answering with AI. Because I can tell you why. Because both answered, both after some speaking, both proposed the recommendation. So it was like that like nothing that I wouldn't believe they know what to propose, because like recommendation is one of the like most personalization, and recommendation is one of the most used use cases for AI. They both offered that. I don't know if Olga wanted to throw me off by starting with that she will use the same framework that she used before when she was answering without AI. I also have a feeling, I don't know, I almost have a feeling either they agreed to trick me and they both used AI, or they both didn't use AI this time. That's not the game that we agreed to play, but I almost feel that something is tricky here. But if I were to choose who used AI, I think, oh, it is hard, because I would expect AI to offer more ideas. And both Olga and Christina offered very few ideas with how to use AI, because the AI engine would recommend, like using AI to process claims of the people, or like complaints, or like to reduce time, to make more repetitive orders. There are like so many things that ChatGPT would recommend, and they both mostly spoke about just one use case. So that just both sounds to me like they were both answering without ChatGPT. But okay, if I were to choose, but I hope they tricked me and both answered without, I would choose that Christina answered with AI.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
I didn't answer like every row because it sounds unnatural, and
Mm-hmm.
with some it starts with some clarification questions, then it proceeds with these user segments, and then it tries to cover all the segments, and so it doesn't focus on a particular issue. So that's why I had to choose one. and to pick one that I need to concentrate on. And then, based on what I said previously, I had to pick one solution based on this problem that I'm focusing.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a good use case actually about how you can use AI and still sound natural, because you didn't read from the screen. And that's what threw me off, because when you were answering the very first, you were almost reading from the screen, and it was really easy to guess that you were using AI. From like the 20 seconds of the answer, it was just structured the way ChatGPT would answer. This way, you both were answering just one idea that is not natural for ChatGPT. Very simple, that not natural for ChatGPT. That's what was hard. So you see, like, yeah, I see people. I, I see people in life with us were also surprised. I mean, it was hard for me as well. Like, it is hard. I don't know. Evgenia, can you answer in the chat why you thought that Olga was answering with AI? Because for me, I almost thought that both were not using AI, because there was like they both were not as like sharp or idea rich, uh, and that's good, because when we interview, nobody wants you to just like anybody can read from the screen, not understanding what's going on. So they want to hear your thinking. And to be honest, I can tell you like a personal something. So I was also I was using ChatGPT recently, to get better with analytics for myself, like to more metrics, like deeper for my product. Because even when you're a very experienced PM, sometimes, and when I lead a team, several teams, sometimes the OKRs that each team has, they compete. So it's like really hard to know if the metrics go up, which team or which feature actually brought them up. So I was like practicing more with ChatGPT, and the amount of metrics or like, that ChatGPT knows made me feel like such a noob that doesn't know anything, right? But that's not the truth. So even if ChatGPT offers you like 5 fantastic ideas, if you answer one, but you can go deeper. Like, what's the metrics? How would you measure? When would you stop the experiment, and so on? That's still a better answer than just reading from the screen. Okay, I think. Okay, Evgenia says in the chat that it was too clear and structural answers from Olga. That's because Olga, because I was training Olga. I want to think so, but last year I had like 6 mock sessions with Olga where I really train her to answer very structurally to all the questions. So she still has this framework. Um, but true. Okay, let's do the last question, because we just.
I want to just to comment here, I think for those who maybe wants to cheat the tips or whatever, I think the difference with the real interview now, because we're doing product sense in 3 minutes, and this is not what really happens, because like normally we have, it's easier to keep the structure if it's a like 30 minutes interview. So like you have one question one by one, so you don't need to jump from one to another. And my big mistake in the first answer was that I was answering not so smooth because I didn't make a conspect. And now I did a conspect. Yes,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
at this 1 minute.
Okay. So let's, because we just talked about experimentation, let me ask you a question about experimentation. To be honest, what we are doing right now, this mock level, it's for the mid-level PM. So I expect people to have like 4 to 6 years of experience. And I honestly don't know if for mid-level PMs have experience with experimentation. So how do you feel, Christina and Olga? Are you okay if I ask about experimentation? Are you familiar with experimentation?
Talking
Like
about
A/B
A/B?
testing,
Yeah.
like A/B testing and all other ways of experimenting with the product.
Is it fine for you, Christina?
yes.
I mean, the question is easy, hopefully. Let's see. So you're testing a new onboarding flow, something similar that Christina was sharing about her lesson learned. How do you design the experiment, and what would make you to stop it early? Because usually, just like some lecture here, usually when we design an experiment, we say like what's the exit criteria. It's either like 2 weeks or 2 weeks and minimum 6,000 people, or like 3% from the total. Like there are different ways to design experiments, and we have an exit criteria. But sometimes we cannot wait till exit criteria is reached. We have to stop experiment. It doesn't happen often, because usually data scientists don't like us to stop experiments, because experiment needs a certain amount of people to go through the funnel of the experiment. But sometimes as PMs, we have to stop the experiment early. So here's the question again. You're testing the new onboarding flow. So this means for new users, right? Like new onboarding flow. How do you design the experiment, and what would make you stop it early? Okay. Um, Here's the question in the chat meanwhile. Does it mean that in the future we need to be less structural and more humanized and not sound like AI? I'm not sure, because in communication, you need to be very clear, especially the more you move in your career ladder, the clarity is very important. However, during interviews, uh, first it's stressful, right? Second, you don't have much time and you want to show a lot. Third, you don't have much time to think about the problem that is asked. So it's natural for you to keep thinking while you're answering, and sometimes be a little bit fluid. So you see, Olga had a conspect, that's why she had structured. But sometimes, like in 1 or 2 minutes, I know myself, especially when the case that is given is from the area I'm not familiar with. Once I passed that interview to Google. I was surprised because I was 100% sure I failed. It was a technical architecture and system design interview, and they asked about self-driving cars stuck in the mountains and so on. And they had to like design architecture and choose databases and so on and so on. And I never used self-driving. So like it was also hardware and software. It was a lot of things. So like my brain was just panicking, and this 2 minutes that I had to make a structure, I was just panicking. So that like that's natural for people to panic, to jump from one to another. It's awesome if you have a structure to at least like to know what parts to cover. So at least, but while you answer each part, it's natural for you to be not as perfect as a robot would be. But at work in the future, of course, when we present or we talk to stakeholders, we probably had more time to prepare than 1 minute to the case that we're not very familiar with. Okay, so the question was about experimentation. I love experimentation. No PM, all PMs should do experiments all the time. So you're testing a new onboarding flow. How do you design the experiment, and what would make you stop it early? Let's start with Olga.
Mm-hmm. Um, so first, I would define the goal of the new onboarding. So we need some metric, for example, increase in activation rate or improve day 1 or day 7 retention, stuff like this. After, we would set up the experiment. So we would create 2 groups, control group and treatment group. We would define success metrics like primary metric, as I mentioned, like activation rate, for example, and secondary metrics like time to first action, NPS, or some other metrics. Um, After, we need to set a sample size and duration of the experiment and use a power calculator, or like in the company, if they do have special tools. So like we need to determine how many users we need to detect a significant change. And so I would stop experiment early only if it would be some strong negative impact. So, like for example, if new onboarding significantly decreased activation or retention compared to the control sample, or if we experience some severe usability issues. So if I see high drop off of a specific step, or if we had some.
How high? Define high.
Depends on the product, but if let's say if we have I don't know, 20%, like for me it sounds normal, but again it depends on the product. If the product is like big and they're fighting for every percentage, so probably 5% can be high. In a middle product, I would say like 20 sounds quite high.
For the middle product, 20% drop off can kill the product. So probably for every, I do hear you that the bigger you are, the more you optimize.
Let's say from 1 to 20, but yeah, like it can be. Also, if you had some technical problems, so like bugs or broken flows, like nothing works. If you if you follow this scenario, and statistical significance is reached earlier, it can happen as well. So if we planned our experiment for 1 month and it finished in 2 weeks and we already have statistical significance, it's fine to stop it.
Okay, thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. What is with me? So I'll start with identification of target metric we want to check and which difference we want to check. Based on that, I would calculate the number of users we need to have in each cohort. Then, based on this information, I would do the other more technical stuff like so first of all, we create these two versions that we're gonna test, this version of onboarding. Then I need to decide how and where we can attract these new users. So for example, I don't know the product itself, but also maybe we need to have a contact with marketers so that then they can help us with the attraction of these users. And also I would check that from the perspective of dashboard where we're gonna track these metrics, is everything fine? Then once we have everything, we can start our experimentation. The second part of the question, when I stop the experiment earlier. So the first case is when I see that the metrics are critically low or critically high. So for example, if we in one of the options, so usually in the option that we testing, for example, we have a very low metrics, and this may mean for us that we are losing our customers. Or for example, we have a very super results, and in this case, we probably need to switch to this updated onboarding, because this means for us that in the first scenario, we are losing some clients. And also, as we are working, so if we presume that we are working for a big company, sometimes it happens some stuff that is communicated to us later than it could be. So for example, there can be some additional events by the company, and we were not we didn't have any information about these events in advance, then yeah, sometimes you need to stop earlier because of some companies stuff. That's it.
Have you done experiments before?
No, not so much.
Have you done A/B testing?
No, not so much.
Okay.
What kind of question is it?
I'll just yeah. Okay. So based on this answer, I think I lean rather the answers again were very similar, right? Like structure was very similar. They both said how when they would exit either because I loved what Christina answered. That's why I think she answered with AI because I love the idea of stopping experiment when not only because Olga was mentioning about like having statistical significance reaching it earlier, so that all makes sense. But I loved Christina's answer that sometimes very rarely happens that the new option we reach the statistical significance and it's by far better. So why to wait and lose the profit or whatever acquisition, whatever we are trying to improve. So let's do it earlier. However, Christina didn't know the names for the groups that we use in A/B testing. That's why I asked if she's done A/B testing before, because she said first and second instead of a control and treatment group. And people who are talking that well about experimentation should know the names for the when we design A/B testing. One group is called control group, another called treatment group. So that's why I would think that she answered with AI. Also, she blushed a lot. To be honest, I tried not to I tried not to count blushing, but mostly I was thrown. Structure was better than Olga's, and then she didn't name control and treatment groups. But the answer was as of someone who is experienced with A/B testing. So how did I do here?
I did with AI.
No way. Okay, so did I lose to AI or is it 2-2?
It is 2-2.
Oh gosh, how you did, Christina, you did fantastic without AI.
Yeah,
I
I forgot how it is pronounced in English, these two groups. That's
yeah,
why I named them the first and the second.
yeah. Yeah. Uh because like I like the ideas in your answer. Olga answered everything like structurally, everything like the great answers it would be, but she missed this one where we see the astonishingly better answer to stop early and to move to that new version. And you had it, and I was like, whoa, that's a good idea. Right? Cool. Okay. Gosh, I'm surprised. I don't know what people in the chat thinking. Did they guess better than I did? But if we were to conclude now, I'll say that it is hard. It is hard to guess unless the person just reads from the screen. And what I was, while I was thinking about this, our experiment on the weekend, what I was thinking that in the future, I have no idea how companies, like, I mean, companies will keep implementing tools to make sure that during interviews people are not using AI because there are already tools that help, video to edit your video. I forgot the name of the product, but it's for podcasters that you can read from the screen somewhere and it puts your eyeballs like in the middle looking at the camera. So let's say you can have like second monitor just like reading from it and some AI on your computer will like make you look like you're talking to the interviewer and not reading from the screen. There's so many crazy things that can help. So it's either will be a lot of behavioral questions where you need to talk about your experience and like cross like you like cross testing, like using this behavioral into the next behavioral to trick you. But at the same time, you can have your AI agent where you can like train them on the prompts because even ChatGPT has memory about you, right? So you can like feed You can go on a walk. There's voice option. You can go on a walk and just tell the story of your career to ChatGPT with all your behavioral answers, let's say, and then whatever they ask can be transcribed to the screen. Like there's so it's already can be done. So this scares me a little. But what I see, for example, for interviews in Meta, I like to make paper notes, but I'm not sure if I were to interview right now that I would use paper notes, because I know for interview at Meta, they already ask to use whiteboard. And I think it's one of the things they want you to have whiteboard on your screen so that you make all notes there. Maybe it's one of the tools they use to make sure that the person is not, ChatGPT on the phone. But I do love paper notes personally. And it's really hard for me to not use paper notes. But I would need to promise people I'm thinking by myself.
So
Okay,
what?
that's the future. The people in the chat also saying it's impossible. And by the way, the person who's writing that this is impossible is my best friend who is a data scientist, and she told me when she heard about this experiment, she said it's so easy, and I was like, oh, it's so easy. Then I started to doubt, and she said no, no, it's so easy. But now she's also confident that it was hard. Crazy. Crazy. Okay, all people are surprised. The only one clear way to recognize AI will be noticing hallucinations. But AI is getting so much better every day, like each new model. And the prompt engineering, people are so good with prompt engineering right now, and with memory and personalization, and with agents that will be very personalized for us. I honestly do not know how companies will be hiring. Maybe they will be flying us again to the office so that we're in person till someone like OpenAI, like someone ships a chip that goes inside our head that helps us, that has some AI helping us answer. Okay, thanks everyone who was with us live. A huge amount of Evgenius in the chat. Was a pleasure to chat with you all. Huge thanks to Olga and Christina for inviting me. It was way harder than I initially thought. So I do not envy interview people who interview other people, because it's really hard now to make sure what candidate actually has experience and can then build great products.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I also, by the way, I think that, of course, if you have some experience, ChatGPT helps a lot because, like, if we wouldn't know the structure and how to answer or how to answer follow-up questions, it would be way less natural. I have a question for you, so, Zhenya, as a hiring manager, you already suggested, I mean, on-site interviews, obviously. I loved your suggestion regarding cross-examination, regarding like behavioral question, because I think so far ChatGPT is not good in this hallucinating. But like, do you see some other ways to check? Because let's say the person is good, I mean, they have real experience and they are able to answer behavioral questions, but the hardest part is a case interview that we experienced today. This is the hardest part. So how to check?
To be honest, to be honest, at Microsoft, people usually all interviews are behavioral. They are with different taste. Each person is assigned the part of the what to check, either growth mindset or the product sense or execution or analytical. But all the questions would be, tell me the story where the way I started. Tell me the story where you shipped something and it failed and what you learned from that. And the thing is, I think more companies will do behavioral questions of that sort, because in this case you cannot do 1, 2, 3 from ChatGPT. You do need to come up with the idea. The problem is those behavioral questions is there's a meme that, because there's a meme that basically says that you go to the interview and they ask you tell me about a story when you were walking on the Wednesday night in London and saw a small dog, and the dog jumped from the bridge and you ate a strawberry ice cream at this time. What happened later? The thing is that it's really hard. Behavioral questions are easy and hard because not all of us had all of the experience that can be asked. Maybe you've never been to London and saw a dog at night, but you need to come up with some scenario that is close to that to show your experience and product thinking. That's challenging about behavioral questions, but I do think people will have more of those, because then you will hear a lot of different stories and how what person actually shipped, how person actually measured. So I honestly, in this case, I do not envy early in career people, because with what is happening with AI, I honestly do not know how to interview for the first job when you don't have the experience. When I gave a lecture at the University of Washington to the students on how also to interview and what products are doing with AI right now. And they all asked, they have internships. My only advice, is to rock those internships so that they get the full-time invite offers, because they already could show their brightness and character. Uh, Otherwise, it's really hard, because exactly everything can be judged ChatGPT. Or the second advice is, to have your own project of some sort or your own product, so that you have experience and you can answer those questions. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, that's amazing. It's a big challenge for us in the future, I think. Uh, to
I see there's one question in the chat. Can I answer that?
Sure.
The question is, do I think that AI will replace product managers in near future? Well, if you read Blind, uh, Blind is the website where a lot of people anonymously trash each other. So there are a lot of presumably software engineers who write all the time that PMs are trash and should never exist. So if you read Blind, according to anonymous people on Blind, PMs were never needed and they should disappear in the future. However, when I first started to ship AI features, I was afraid that it will lead to the world where people will lose a lot of jobs. And there are a lot of layoffs right now in the industry, but the layoffs are across all areas. PMs, engineers, even data scientists, you would think, right? Like we need a lot of data scientists. It's all across. What happens in the industry that we need less people, right? Like for example, I shipped a lot of products uh, to make claim processing faster. So this means that a lot of people who were manually inserting claims into the database or reading them, they will lose some jobs. But the ones who were good, or the ones who, there will be just less people in that area who will work together with agents to process claims, right? And the business will win, sadly. The same with PMs. I don't think product managers will disappear, because someone needs to do user research, to define MVP, to set up OKRs. And a lot of those things are not as programmatic. They are not just 0 or 1, right? We just discussed earlier how hard it is to set up OKRs when you have lots of features and you need to, when you do a lot of experimentation. I was lately doing a lot of experimentation for each of the feature, and very often it's really hard to set up those experiments to know 100% which feature to which cohort brought to the positive result. And that's the whole idea, the whole point of experimentation. So I'm pretty sure that product managers will not disappear. At the same time, I do think there will be less product managers, and I do think it will be harder to break into product management to junior people. I think the ones who already senior um, and or who have experience with AI, or who are learning right now data science and can be data science CPNs, and or who have founding experience. There are still a lot of flavors of PMs. There will be less. They will be doing more, but they will exist. So I hope it's not very depressing answer.
Yeah, I agree totally with you. and I think this the profession will not disappear because someone needs to be and to decide what needs to be done. But yeah, certainly we don't need to have so many people now.
Many PMs at many companies, many PMs, or a lot of time of your product management time, you do project management. And I think that lots of that can be automated. However, creative stuff, AI is still not good at creative stuff. My best friend Anya may object in the chat because she's working with a lot of like creative stuff and music, and AI can do a lot of cool stuff. But I don't think companies soon will trust AI to make business decisions and to make UX decisions. It's just a tool. It's a tool, but because we're lucky, is everyone PM on the call? Because we're lucky because our job is not only be technical and execute and talk to the people. Oh, by the way, talk to the people will not disappear, and being creative. So we have like half of what we are doing is convince people, update stakeholders, and being creative and brainstorm. These two will need humans for quite some time. I don't worry for my life expectancy that it will disappear, let's say. So I think we're good.
Playing political games with stakeholders will be always on our shoulders. No problem, guys. Don't worry. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for participation, for your questions. It was quite interesting to answer those questions, and also this is it was a great opportunity to practice them one more time. So in the end of our meeting, I would say that if you are interested in practicing more questions for interviews, then you can connect to our program, and where we consider different types of questions starting from behavioral till execution. So you can see and you can watch how then they can be answered in our video blogs, and also practice with your peers, as this is the most important part when you want to practice, when you want to master answering this question, then practice is on the first place. So thank you once again, and hope we meet us once again.
Yeah, Christina, by the way, texted to me just now that it was harder for her to answer with ChatGPT. For me, it was the other way around, because especially I was using as for the sake of exercise, I was trying to keep the answer that they provided me. But honestly, if I was on the interview cheating, I would just use these bullet points, and of course, like they already did this like hard for brain stuff, like already structurized, and especially in like metrics questions, and even I think product sense, I don't know, like you already have kind of structure, so you can.
Yeah, you both were answering really well without AI. So you're both really great. It's the first time I met Christina, and your answers were really good. So I often doubted you were using AI. So that's a good sign. Okay, thanks everyone.
Yeah, thank you everyone, and have a
Bye.
nice evening or day.
Bye.